The Transformational Leadership Model Canvas, TLMC, is a leadership learning tool used to visualize all possible solutions to a problem scenario facing by the leaders and their organization. The main purpose of this model is to improve leadership collaborative problem solving and decision making through problem-based learning simulation and experience. Theoretical framework of the Transformational Leadership Model Canvas. This model was developed based on multiple leadership and learning theories and practices, including 1. The Transformational Leadership Concept and Model, proposed by James McGregor Burns in his book, Leadership, 1978. 2. The original Visionary Problem-Based Leadership Model, VPL, developed by Dr. Hussein Othman, and proposed in his book, Ma'athar, The Art of Political Leadership, 2020. 3. The Problem-Based Learning Approach, proposed by Howard S. Barrows and Linda Wee in their book, Principles and Practice of APBL, 2007, and other PBL models and versions. 4. Professor Woai Hung's 3C3R Problem Design Model, proposed in his article, The 3C3R Model, a Conceptual Framework for Designing Problems in PBL, 2006. 5. The Original Factila Inquiry Approach, developed by Dr. Hussein Othman, and proposed in his book, Ma'athar, The Art of Political Leadership, 2020. In this video presentation, the discussion will be focusing on the second pillar, the original Visionary Problem-Based Leadership Model, VPL. The model was developed by Dr. Hussein Othman, based on his 10 years thorough study on the leadership of Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, a Malaysian elder statesman who was the 4th and the 7th Prime Minister of the country. The result of the study was published in his book, Ma'athar, The Art of Political Leadership. The development of this model is based on the content analysis of Dr. Mahathir's problem-based leadership learning, as contained in two major sources, A Doctor in the House and Chide Weblog. The brief analysis was presented in chapters 1, 2, and 3 of the book, Ma'athar, The Art of Political Leadership, whereas the detailed analysis, based on the process of identification of leadership learning themes, problem-based triggers, the diagnostic process, PBL and POPBL leadership learning process, was presented in chapters 4 to 10 of the book. Overall, the model development process consists of 6 major steps. 1. Content analysis of the texts. 2. Identification of leadership learning themes. 3. Identification of problem-based triggers. 4. Identification of diagnostic process. 5. Identification of PBL and POPBL leadership learning process. 6. Dr. Mahathir's VPL model development. The model is flexible, and it could be further improved and redeveloped according to the future requirement or new findings on Dr. Mahathir's leadership learning experience. Therefore, the 6th and final step of process development, the Dr. Mahathir's VPL model development, is closing the loop and reconnecting to the first step, the content analysis of the text. Dr. Mahathir's VPL model could be summarized into a diagram as shown here. Throughout his memoirs in A Doctor in the House and Chide Weblog writings, we could find the pattern of his visionary problem-based leadership, where he valued the past, stood firm by focusing on the present circumstances, and visualizing the future possibilities. Problems are the heart of his leadership, and will always be the starting point from which the learning takes place. To understand the problems, he applied the diagnostic approaches. 1. Identifying the facts. 2. Generating ideas from the facts. 3. Identifying learning issues based on ideas, and 4. Initiating the action plan for further self-directed learning. The self-directed learning process is independent learning that involved both individual and group or team learning. In his case, he could be conducting his learning activities, lots of reading, meetings, expert group discussions, and consultations with senior advisors, ministers, government senior officials, etc. These are among the most common independent self-directed learning approaches he employed while he was a member of parliament, a minister, deputy prime minister, and a prime minister. Self-directed learning connects between the present and the future, between the current learning outcomes and the future possibilities and planning. Dr. Mahathir had never been satisfied with the solutions proposed by others, unless he could see their connection with the symptoms he had discovered during the diagnostic process, self-directed learning, and reflective learning. Building the connection between the past, present, and the future is the hallmark of Dr. Mahathir's visionary problem-based leadership thinking. When he returned to politics and began to focus on Najib Razak's leadership, he had been employing another advanced format of problem-based learning called Project Organized Problem-Based Learning, POPBL. Through this advanced PBL, He had to organize and manage a project called Save Malaysia Project to oust Najib from the government. Further description of the VPL model is shown in this figure. This model is based on Dr. Mahathir's Project Organized Problem-Based Learning, or POPBL exploration on Najib Razak's leadership, as discussed in chapters 8 and 9 of the book, Mahathir, The Art of Political Leadership. The past learning experience of Dr. Mahathir and his leadership is related to the problem trigger of Abdullah Badawi's leadership, while the selected problem trigger for Najib Razak's leadership is the result of the 2013 13th general election. The timeline in this diagram shows the connection between the previous Dr. Mahathir experience with Abdullah Badawi's leadership, which took place between 2003 to 2008, with the present learning on Najib Razak's leadership, which took place between early 2013 up to end of 2017. Then, the learning proceeded with the POPBL Save Malaysia project, which was accomplished in May 2018. Overall, the VPL model is a comprehensive visionary problem-based leadership learning model, comprised of the previous experience, or prior knowledge, the problem trigger, the learning process of diagnostic and self-directed learning, project implementation, and concluded with reflective learning. The VPL model has contributed a lot to the development of the Transformational Leadership Model Canvas, TLMC, in terms of the fundamental framework of transformational leadership practice and experience in the field. The abundance of problem scenarios, collected from Dr. Mahathir's 60 years of leadership experience, is certainly useful and most valuable for the learning simulation exercises using TLMC. The specific quality of Dr. Mahathir, as a visionary leader, who managed to lead an opposition coalition to victory through a project-organized problem-based learning or POPBL exploration, is highly demanding for future leaders to emulate and learn the lessons from his legacies.